A very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News, coming to you live and direct from the News First Centre here in Colombo. I am Florin Rajendran.
A very good evening, I'm Zola. We start off with a look at the headlines.
US proposes that the term hybrid court be replaced with credible investigation. Government will seek to end reliance on excise revenue, a statement from the President. Suspects in the murder of Seya Sadomi brought before the JMO of Negombo. 4 suspects arrested over attempted rape of a British woman in Mirissa.
President Maithripala Sirisena said today that the government has drawn its attention towards recouping revenue without relying on excise duties.
The President expressed these views today at the 64th anniversary celebration of the All Ceylon Excise Sergeants and Regulators Association. The event was held at the new town hall in Colombo.
When
it comes to government policy, I always attempt to look at where we can recoup state revenue without relying on excise duty. As far as we know, intoxicants have been around ever since human beings evolved. Throughout the world, we are seeing an increase in people using intoxicants. Since in present, even school children are being drawn into the use of intoxicants by various base smugglers. As a government, we are looking at how we can save the children, the youth and the people as a whole from this. This is the government's primary goal. In order to have a healthy society for the good of the country, we must try as much as possible to prevent people from using intoxicants. The President and the Cabinet have decided that the 2016 budget must be presented on the 20th of November. I believe that this is our government's first opportunity to present a policy framework highlighting our vision. In order to reduce excise income by 2020, we need to set targets for how many taverns we will close this year and how much we will curb cigarette production, be it 10% or otherwise, but we cannot see it happening because as soon as the President says so, the officials at the Treasury start whining. There's also a possibility of others tripping us over when we attempt such things. On your developing story tonight, rounds of discussions on the draft resolution on Sri Lanka were held at the first informal session in Geneva, Switzerland today. Speaking at the discussion, the United States had proposed that the term hybrid court, as recommended by the High Commissioner in his report, be replaced with the term credible investigation.
Discussions were held among the core group of the UN on the draft resolution on Sri Lanka, which is scheduled to be tabled on the 30th of this month. Joining the informal session, US Representative to the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, Keith Harper, said that as the term hybrid court is open to various interpretations by the people, it would be suitable to change the phrase. Expressing his views at the session, Sri Lanka's permanent representative to the UN in Geneva, Ravinatha Ariyasinghe, briefly echoed the statement made by Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira on the 14th of this month at the UNHRC. As Minister Mangala Samaravira outlined on the 14th of September, Ravinatha Ariyasinghe reiterated Sri Lanka's commitment to set up a Commission for Truth, Justice, Reconciliation and Non-Recurrence, an Office on Missing Persons, a judicial mechanism with a special counsel and an office for reparations. Ravinatha Ariyasinghe went on to note that these mechanisms will be evolved and designed through consultations involving victims, political parties, civil society representatives, the military, the High Commissioner and his office and other relevant international organizations, as well as members of the diaspora who wish to be consulted. For a clear understanding of the discussions today, News First contacted senior journalist Sunanda Deshapriya, who is currently based in Geneva, Switzerland.
The countries, as usual, the countries who supported Sri Lanka previous years, opposed the resolution, some sections of the resolution in this year as well, on the basis of sovereignty, judicial intervention, and so on. Those countries are Russia, China, Pakistan, Cuba, and Egypt. From Latin America, Mexico spoke on support of the resolution. They said they will support the resolution and the report by the OISL. Switzerland was very strong supporting the resolution. US ambassador very clearly made that they will use only the word credibility, credible investigation is of hybrid court as recommended by the High Commissioner, because word hybrid court can be interpreted in different ways. It's a loaded word. But today, many countries said that they will provide in writing their recommendations and how to change the language. Whole discussion about how to change the language of the resolution, and taking these written submissions by the member states. Tomorrow there will be a final discussion to finalize the resolution at noon at the same venue at the UNHRC.
Stock of weapons found in the Mahanura vessel docked at the Galle harbour. Foreign travel of the owner of the Mahanura vessel, Avantgarde Security Services Chairman Nisanka Senadipati, suspended. Court rejects lifting of travel ban on Nisanka Senadipati. Criminal Investigations Department opposes plea made to court by Avantgarde to use an alternate vessel as a floating armoury. Court grants permission for weapons to be transferred to another vessel. Court order issued preventing former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa from travelling overseas lifted. Attorney General recommends temporary suspension of the magisterial inquiry into the floating armoury. Court case terminated. Nisanka Senadipati's travel ban lifted.
The Attorney General is saying that there is nothing on Avantgarde. They also said that there is nothing on Gotabaya or even KP. All we have to ask is whether or not there are any attorneys. My stance will not change. I know for certain that this is wrong. We will not put a stop to this, be it the Attorney General or be it anyone else.
Watch Satana on our sister channel Sirasa TV this Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Convening a media briefing today, the Pivituru Hello Rume expressed the following views on the report recently released by the OCHRC in Geneva.
The Prime Minister has made a statement as reported by the media yesterday, saying that those who are spreading false statements on the Geneva report will be subjected to rigorous punitive measures. We would like to tell this government that if we were afraid of the ghost, we would not build our houses at the graveyard. So even if you show us the court, the prison or even the gallows, we cannot be silenced. The Beddegama adaptation of Leonard Woolf's novel says at one point that Beddegama was tried at court on murder charges. The hearing took place in English. The character Silindu did not know English. So this hybrid criminal court shows that our soldiers will have to face the same unfortunate situation similar to what Silindu faced.
අනාගතයේ අපේ රණවිරුවන්ට මූණ දෙන්න වෙනවා කියන එකයි මේ දෙමුහුන් අපරාධ අධිකරණයෙන් පෙන්වා දෙන්නේ.
A media briefing was convened by Minister of Social Services and Social Welfare SPD Sanaika at the ministry premises today.
The minister said that a sum of 4.6 billion rupees has been allocated to pay off certain unpaid projects. Meanwhile, journalists posed questions about the allegations levelled against former Minister of Economic Development Bassir Rajapaksa, citing his involvement in financial irregularities.
Nothing has happened to the money that was at the Samurdhi Bank. Allegations were raised against Basil that he printed calendars at a cost of 5 million rupees. Minister Sajid Premadasa has not given a single cent from the Samurdhi account to non-Samurdhi beneficiaries. All he did was provide housing loans to some people from the funds of the Samurdhi Divinagama program and rural development program. I don't see any breach of law in this act.
Speaker Karu Jayasuriya chaired a meeting in Parliament today on the future activities of the Constitutional Council.
Issuing a statement on the meeting, the Deputy Speaker's office noted that 3 points were taken up for discussion. It was agreed at the meeting held today to obtain approval in Parliament tomorrow for the 3 civil nominees for Constitutional Council, Dr. A.T. Ratna, Dr. Radhika Kumaraswamy and President's Counsel Shipli Aziz. It was also decided to extend the deadline for the submission of nominations for the independent commissions until the 30th of this month. The Constitutional Council is to be established prior to the 15th of October.
Leader of the Lanka Samasamaja Party and former Minister Professor Thissa Vitharana filed a fundamental rights petition at the Supreme Court requesting that he is provided a seat in Parliament as a National List MP.
Professor Thissa Vitharana, in his petition filed by Attorney-at-Law S. Ekanayaka, says that his name was included in the list of National List candidates prior to the recently concluded general election. He adds that this list was published by way of gazette by the Elections Commission as well. However, Professor Thisavitharana says that following the release of the results of the election, instead of the names which were gazetted by the Elections Commissioner, those who were defeated in the election were appointed to the national list, causing injustice to him. Professor Thisavitharana has prayed for an order of the Supreme Court revoking the national list appointments made thus far and to appoint him as an MP. The two suspects who have been arrested in connection with the brutal murder of Seya Sadayume in Kotadeniyawa have been submitted to the Judicial Medical Officer in Negombo.
Our reporter says that two suspects were brought to the JMO in Negombo separately. The suspects were subsequently remanded until the 28th of this month. Police are also investigating the contents of a computer belonging to the 17-year-old suspect who is now in custody. Demonstrations were held across the island today as well, demanding that authorities reveal the identities of the killers and calling for the imposition of the death penalty.
When I heard about this on the TV yesterday, I felt like shouting and crying. Parents, open your eyes.
If they don't have anyone to execute the culprits, I will continue doing my job as a vade seller, and at the same time I will sign up as an executioner. I live in a house made out of planks. How will I feel if my child was taken out of my home in the middle of the night?
Approve capital punishment in Parliament. If there is anyone opposing it in Parliament, then punitive measures should be taken against them. My daughter is of the same age as her. We are now uncertain about our children's safety and have a larger responsibility to protect them.
The time has come to impose capital punishment.
His Excellency and the IGP shall receive many blessings if the law to hang such suspects are passed in a land that is sacred as ours.
On to a story that made it to the headlines this evening. 4 men who attacked British tourists on the Marissa beach in Mathura and attempted to abduct his girlfriend have been arrested.
The British couple were accosted as they were returning to their hotel from a party that was held on the Marissa beach at about 3 a.m. today. The police say that the suspects had arrived at the scene in a three-wheeler. The incident was recorded on CCTV cameras at a nearby hotel.
Yeah, we were at the bar on the beach. So I had like a few drinks, but yeah, I bumped into someone I knew from school in England, and then I can't really remember much after that. Just fairly certain that I was drugged.
When we got close to the hotel, another tuk-tuk came down and stopped us in the road. A guy got out and then tried to take my girlfriend and put her into the other tuk-tuk. I tried to stop them, at which point the guy from the other tuk-tuk got out and a knife and stabbed me, I think 6 times. We had a tussle, a fight, and they went off, and I came up here to the hotel. I carried my girlfriend up, and then sought medical help from local services. Everyone has been absolutely great about this. The police have been exceptionally good.
3 employees at the restaurant and the driver of the three-wheeler have been arrested and are to be produced in court tomorrow.
A youth who molested a boy in the Hibudava area in southern Lankawa, Pannala, was captured by area residents.
The suspect was captured after the 10-year-old boy complained to his mother regarding the incident. The 18-year-old suspect was nabbed last evening and handed over to the police. The police said that the victim was admitted to the Kuliapetia Base Hospital for medical examination and to receive treatment. Elsewhere, police investigations have commenced to apprehend the suspect who attempted to molest a girl in the Bundal area in Hambantota. According to the police, the suspect entered the victim's house last night in an attempt to molest her, but fled the scene when a shouting awoke her parents. Police have commenced investigations based on a pair of slippers that was left behind by the suspect.
The suspect in connection with the murder of a father, mother and child in the Galpathu area in Naivala Minuwangoda was produced before the Gampa Magistrate Court once again today.
The poultry farm owner in Naivala, Galputhe in Udugampola, Gampaha and his wife and daughter were murdered recently. The Gampaha magistrate ordered that the victims' clothing and other articles of evidence be forwarded to the government and list for further investigation. Court also gave permission to present the suspect before the Munragala High Court on the 30th of this month.
Footage of numerous incidents where people undergo stress as a result of confusing situations involving traffic laws are making the rounds on social media at present. The incident we are about to show you is slightly different.
Ahmad Farooq, a private tutor, uploaded this footage of 3 separate instances involving 3 police officers on his Facebook page.
What am I to do about their lack of knowledge? I feel like I would like to lead a life with no driving or vehicles at all. These are good officers who realized there was no fault on my part. I went against what the Kotahena police said. Look at the date he has put down. They want me to come to court on the 24th. It's a holiday and I will be wasting my time. Now you have seen what happened with the Nikavaratia police. I cannot be teaching them the law for as long as I am driving this vehicle. At least you can go and say this to the heads of the traffic police.
News First contacted the driver regarding the confusion.
The book says that 2 passengers can be taken, but they refuse to accept it. That is not my fault. This is what has been printed.
We made inquiries regarding this matter from the Commissioner General of Motor Traffic.
I conducted inquiries too. We are talking about a vehicle registered on the 28th of March 2012. Due to some error, the number of seats in this vehicle had been noted as 2. So there has been a fault during the registration. So we will act as soon as possible to get the vehicle to the Department of Motor Vehicles in order to rectify the situation.
Importers say that the depreciation of the rupee against the US dollar could cause the prices of imported goods to rise further. Wholesalers in Petah say that the prices of several goods including sugar, dal, cowpea and chili have already risen as a result of taxes imposed recently by the government.
The rupee has depreciated significantly ever since the Central Bank of Sri Lanka decided to float the currency on the 4th of this month. It is normal for the prices of imported goods to rise as the rupee depreciates against the US dollar. When News First made inquiries, however, it was noted that the prices of food items are yet to rise parallel to the depreciation of the rupee. However, the prices of several goods has increased as a result of levies imposed by the government on the 9th of this month.
Sugar is selling at about 82 to 83 rupees. It used to be 68 or 70. There's a difference of 12 rupees.
The best quality dal is selling at 185 rupees. It used to be 182, so there's an increase of 3 rupees.
The duty on imported cowpea has increased to 70. It used to be 25, now it has increased by 45 rupees.
The price of chili has increased by about 10 to 15 rupees. The price of green gram has also increased. Australian green gram, which was selling at 170, is now between 190 to 195 rupees. The dollar has increased to 143 rupees and 25 cents.
A commemoration lecture on M.A. Bakir Markar was held in Colombo today.
M.A. Bakir Markar was the last speaker of the old parliament and the first speaker of the new parliament. The M.A. Bakir Markar Memorial Lecture was delivered by world-renowned academic and philosopher Professor Tariq Ramadan, who was once regarded as one of the top 100 most influential people in the world by Time magazine. The lecture was delivered on the topic pluralism and its contemporary challenges.
Pluralism is a fact. Now we have to deal with it and try to find solution, and it starts also with our mind, with our intellect, with our way of putting things and understanding things, while we should at the same time do something which is quite a challenge, but it's very important. When we speak about pluralism, we should be at the same time rooted in our tradition and open to the other traditions. So how is it that you are open and at the same time confident with who you are? Any political project, social project, cultural project, which is asking you to be within while you are not in peace within yourself, is not going to work. The common narrative should be inclusive and helping every one of us in his or her tradition, religious, cultural, or whatever, at peace with herself or himself and at peace with the common narrative.
The annual conference of the Organization of Professional Associations 2015 under the theme Innovation and Technology for Sustainable Development was held in Colombo today. The UN's resident representative in Sri Lanka, Subine Nandi, addressed the event.
We are working very closely with the Office of His Excellency the President to make his first appearance in New York at the General Assembly session, at the Sustainable Development Goals Summit, which is a special plenary of the General Assembly. This first appearance, first emergence to be very, very auspicious, remarkable, so that people hear about the new course of politics that is being laid in Sri Lanka.
Shifting gears from rugby to cricket news, an event was held today to mark the yeoman's service rendered by Lionel Mendes to cricket in Sri Lanka. The esteemed coach was felicitated at the event held at Ananda College, Colombo.
Lionel Mendes was the first cricket coach for a host of national cricket legends including Bantula Varnapura, Siddharth Vettamuni, Arjuna Ranatunga, Brendan Kuruppu and Mahela Jayawardena. An old boy of Dharmashoka Vidyalaya in Ambalangoda, Lionel Mendes also served in the armed forces. The event was organized today by the Old Anandians Cricket Circle on the initiative of Minister Arjuna Ranatunga.
Today the game is being played in well over 100 countries. But when the quantity increases, the quality goes down. I think the administrators, the ICC, they should lot more for the greater good of the game.
You did not simply teach us how to bat, bowl and field. You taught us how to live day in and day out. You taught us how to walk, how to eat and how to drink. You taught us discipline.
Well, that's a wrap of Primetime News here at News First. For the News First team, I'm Florin Rajendran.
And I'm Joel Outscoon. Have yourself a pleasant evening ahead. Take care. Good night.